we should tell them the story, Brace. So you'd been playing this for a while with some of your friends.
2021.
Since 2021.
Since 2021.
So how did this all happen?
So the game itself, the genesis of that was my boy Walker, who I met when I was like a teenager. He was in this band Crazy Spirit. I was in, of course, War Crime. We played a show together in I don't know if they actually played, but it was in Richmond, Virginia.
Near Washington,
D.C. That's
D.C.
That's correct. In like 2008, I think.
Great year for that area.
But there'd always been a big connection between kind of my group of friends and this kind of New York group of dudes. And anyways, long story short, so right after 1/6/2021, Walker, his roommate McCoy, and Walker's sister Z were like, oh, like we should make a board game. Because, 2021 was that was like, there still wasn't that much stuff open and like shit closed at like 10 p.m. So you need something to do. And the board game was made, and it was a very, I played it later that year, and it was
like they just made it like with
like out of like cardboard and like little clay figures and like shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I played it later that year, and it was a little bit like Calvin Ball style rules, like making it up kind of as you went along.
Yeah, just like as a funnies.
As a funnies. It was very kind of complicated as well. And then I played it like off and on for a while. Like we just like played, and like it went through like different iterations. Walker especially was always like kind of working on it, tinkering away at it. And then I think end of last year, we were like, let's like rationalize the game rules and like make it more real. And then like I got really involved in it, and a bunch of people kind of like contributed in different ways, and we made it over the course of a while. We made the rules make sense. We simplified them. We kind of rationalized them. We streamlined them. We balanced them. The game itself, this is another thing too. I am not a huge board game person. I've played several board games throughout my life. I don't believe I've ever played a board game that is in a similar rule set to this, but it's basically like you move through the Capitol, rolling 2 dice to move, and then you go into these different rooms, and in each of those rooms you flip over something, a desk, and then under that there's ballots, hostage, event card, or nothing. You need to get 100 ballots and then to make it to the roof to change the results of the election. You also fight other players. You can kill them, and then one player plays the Capitol Police. He's trying to kill all of you or just prevent you from getting to the roof with 100 ballots before the 10th turn when the National Guard gets there. And it took us a while to make the game balanced, which it is now. But we just fucking play tested this motherfucker like twice a week for a long time. So a lot of people in New York have played it, and thank you all for helping. But and I don't know. We've also worked with Z a bunch, who like designed a lot of it. She designed our sets for our live shows.
Yeah.
And so
she's a homie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Her and her brother Walker are homies, and your homies.
And
You're
legal
good homies.
9/11 survivors, which I think is important. And some of the mindset I think behind doing a January 6th board game is also because January 6th was genuine and like not in an ironic, like detached way. January 6th was like funny in like a very straightforward, actually funny way. Like there didn't need to be any sort of like ironic distancing from it or like interpretations of events that like straight as it happened, it fucking rocked. And it was funny as hell.
It's funny because like like before we were speaking to the guy from the Times about it, I went back and was listening to the episode we did on January 6th.
Oh, that's a good. I should have done that.
Right, whenever we recorded it, like the day after, I think.
I think it was, yeah.
And I think it holds up pretty well, actually. Like one of the things that we really talk about is those guys. I mean, when you watch the footage, first of all, it was crazy in the sense that like it was a real carnival. Mm-hmm. Like the all of the different types of people that were there, and everyone kind of like a bit rabid, but also a bit confused about what they should be doing. Mm-hmm. And then getting inside the Capitol and just like taking selfies and producing content feels like a real. it was like a really beautiful encapsulation of what America is right now, and also what Americans' like relationship towards politics is right now, which is about content.
I think also like 2020 was such a fucking freak show, you know, and like I 2020 is like something I actually think about a lot because I think it was a very impactful year for basically everybody, at least in America, probably most parts of the world. But like it drove, I would say, a majority of Americans completely insane, or at least like accelerated the insanity that was already taking over them and to make them like babbling fucking freaks.
Yeah.
And like January 6th, I think was like really the culmination of a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
That was the right wing's culmination of it. Left wing, I think to me the left wing would probably be Chaz, but
You love talking about shit.
Oh my god!
I do think that the kind of response to January 6th mimicked a lot of the fervor of the like insurrectionists themselves.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And the kind of like liberal. I don't know. I guess it's like, is it still resistance at that point, or did the resistance? Was it that we're post resistance?
Well, I guess it was
Biden
kind of the
was president?
end of. They were still resisting up until the very end.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about.
Blue wave.
Yeah, the blue wave
the blue
people.
wave.
But the ones that were like, I mean, sort of like maniacally searching. Like through crazed like screenshots of the guys and the people at January 6th to like feed the FBI information.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just totally insane,
Nation
crazed
of freaks
energy.
and snitches. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Well, to me too, I think the thing that stood out most about January 6th is it was a lot of fun. Like the people doing it had a lot of fun. People watching it had a lot of fun. Everyone had a pretty good time, all things considered, around it.